check. We not take back no checks. You pep talk. Tiggity check. Hey girl, let's lay the shot.
We know say while you don't want the drama. When Tyson rise up the llama, say to pray at night with your father. He that thing by him out from the corner. You, me know say you're gonna rematch on, you know say you're gonna. Bad man, you run your mouth karma. When the then contract expire, maybe it's...
Okay, did you catch all that smoke?
I did.
Yeah, I did. Right. So there's wow. Let's unpack it. Right. So first off, the quote is Kevin Iole, not Lance Pugmire. Right.
Right.
And it sounds like he is talking about whether or not a interview happened from the locker room or the fight.
Right.
When did this Kevin Iole interview actually happen? Was it the next day?
Yeah,
or was it
the
a
next
different
day.
time part? Like it sounds like you're not even talking about the same quote. It seems like he's referencing the content, right? He's referencing the content of the costume, but none of the other part of it relates to what we're actually talking about. It was Kevin Iole. It wasn't in the locker room. He mentioned that he wore the costume, so it wasn't heavy, but it was the issue that Wilder said wasn't just the heaviness of the costume. It was also the mask restriction.
Every time you talk about Wilder,
right? So he didn't mention
the Wi-Fi goes.
Yeah, your Wi-Fi. I don't know if
okay.
somebody's tweaking your Wi-Fi or something.
Hey, that's your chat.
You're
that's
back,
your chat sending me them vibes, them bad Wi-Fi vibes. Okay, cool. All right, let's see. All right, so there seems to be some kind of inconsistencies, but there also seems to be we're not talking about the same thing. But I don't know. Whatever. If Kevin Iole feels like he needs to clear that part of it up, whatever. It doesn't seem like they were talking about the same thing though. Like from what Wilder's saying to what you're just saying Tay Jones is saying, it sounds like they're talking about two different events, and also not really the substance of what Wilder was saying, even when it comes to the costume.
Well, what Tay Jones was saying was on the day before, because that's the day he was referring to, the day of that night. He was talking about the night. Kevin Iole, is it Iole?
Yes, Iole.
Okay, Kevin Iole. Okay, Kevin Iole. His Tay Jones thing was he never talked to anybody, but that's not to say he didn't say anything to somebody the next day. So you can't just say, well, he didn't say, you know what I mean? Because this was the next day Kevin Iole interviewed him, and the reason why Kevin Iole did that was because people were coming at him, sending him threats and talking a bunch of shit at him about what was going on and why are you lying? Because they were saying he was lying about the interview. That's why he thought it was relevant to post it, to repost what they had, the interview that they conducted the day. As a matter of fact, I don't know what day. I heard it was the day. I read it was the day after. That, according to the source that I read. So, but what Tay Jones was saying, that he couldn't have interviewed anybody because there was nobody there to interview him. That's what he was saying. You know what I'm saying? So we're talking about Tay Jones referring to the night of Kevin Iole.
Talking about, right?
Right. He was talking about the day after. So he could have responded the day after. But then we have Mr. JD's that same night said the costume was heavy. So what I was talking to Tay Jones about is what people are going to do. And that's what they did. They took that out of context. They did. When Lance Pugmire said that, well, it was too heavy. Well, he shouldn't have said that. I'm like, well, why would JD say that? Because that comes off as an excuse. And to counter all this, lies are an excuse. None of them are really any good. They're both bad at the end of the day. Both of them. If you look at somebody if you're talking about lying versus somebody making an excuse, they're both shitty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're both what Lady Shan said. They're on Loserville because that's how people perceive them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when people hear that, they're like, oh, this is bullshit.
Right. So the the Kevin Iole quote, which is this whole thing is talking about, is different. It sounds like it's different than what Tate Jones is talking about. Just to like clarify, right? He's talking about a Lance Pugmire,
Different day.
and we're talking about a Kevin Iole quote. That's first. That's first.
Right.
Secondly, I do agree. While I do agree that excuses, like bad, sure, excuses and lying are bad. They're not equally bad in the same kind of way.
Why, man?
Like it's not even close, right? So instead of like just marrying these two things like they're the same thing, they really are
Your
not the same thing.
Wi-Fi. Your
You're
Wi-Fi.
breaking up.
You're
You're
breaking
breaking
up.
up.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Can you?
Yeah,
How about now?
right. Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good.
Like
No, I will agree
like I
with
was
you.
saying,
I will agree with
while
you. Lies are actually worse than excuses. Just for the record, go ahead.
yeah, and there's not any indication to me that Wilder did either one. So yes, we can talk about lies and excuses being bad. Which one is worse? But what does that have to do with Deontay Wilder? That's really just you guys again coming to your own conclusion. And listen, I got it. Listen, I am not saying that you are incorrect or that you're somehow acting in bad faith in drawing these conclusions, right? You can have these things. I'm just telling you why I'm not drawing these conclusions. I'm not with you on this stuff. This is where you and I part ways. We can talk about the facts and agree to what the facts are, but our conclusions are wildly different. Pun intended.
So you smoke. You're for people making excuses. You're for that.
Am I for that? Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Are you for making?
No,
Are you for misrepresenting my words? Are you for misrepresenting? Right. So I'm asking you a question back.
I'm asking. Well, you didn't let me answer
you a question. And I'm asking you a question. I'm asking you a question with a question. Are you for misrepresenting my position?
No.
Okay, cool. Because I didn't say that. No, I said both things are bad, right? So I'm not for bad things.
So in other words, you don't look as him saying that was an excuse. You don't look at that as an excuse at all in your book. Not even a little bit. And him talking about his costume. Yeah.
Right. Again, correct. Because for me, he was answering the question in a way that if what he is saying is true, then it is not an excuse. We can keep going around and around. We can keep circling back to it. But if Wilder feels like the reason why he didn't feel like he was himself was because of that costume, then what are we talking about?
We're talking about a person making excuses for his performance.
God.
Listen, I'm in the house on the hill.
Well, okay. Well, all right. Well, let's look at this. At any time, did Wilder talk about what he could have did right or wrong? See, did he even talk about that?
Right, because that's not what the question was. I know that you guys wish that
I'm
the question
asking you a question now. That's the question I'm asking you now. Okay. I'm not talking about yesteryear or whatever. I'm talking about right now.
So, has he said what he needs to do differently?
Yeah.
Not that I've seen, no.
Did he say anything then?
I mean, I guess if you call firing your trainer and getting somebody new different, I mean, I guess that. Like getting the snakes out the camp, I guess.
Okay, well, that's snakes in the camp. But did he take any ownership for anything that he did wrong that night?
I think he took, when it comes to the costume he did, like he said, he didn't prep for the costume.
That's the costume, he not him.
Yes, but that's him taking responsibility for not doing it, right?
No, that's him blaming something else. That's him blaming something else. Oh, there was the costume.
Right, okay. So the costume is an inanimate object, right? The costume can't do anything in and of its own. So what he is saying is the costume was the reason why he didn't feel like himself, and that it was his bad for not prepping beforehand and making sure that wasn't the case.
Okay, you can't blame the costume for that, though, man.
He's blaming himself for it. He didn't blame JD's for it. He didn't say, you know what, I think JD's or Mark Breland told me the costume was just fine. It turns out that it wasn't. He said it was on me. I should have tracked this out, but I didn't. And it came back biting the butt.
Okay, so you look at it as more of an explanation versus an excuse. That's what you're saying, right?
If somebody asks you what happened,
I mean,
What
just a
do they
yes or no
ask you?
question.
They're
Just a
asking
yes or
you
no
what
question.
happened. Yeah,
I'm just
no,
saying
like,
that.
that's
I
what
mean, so
yeah, yeah.
basically, again, that means that's more of an explanation to you. He's just explaining what he didn't feel himself because
In his
the
mind,
costume.
right? In his mind, that's what the deal was. Like, I'm not saying that both things could be true, and he's undervaluing what Fury did and overvaluing the costume. Even if the costume did restrict him, perhaps it was still the fact that it was what Fury was doing and not the costume, right? But that's in
Right.
his mind. I'm not here to make these kind of judgments. Like, I literally don't.
No, it's not that.
For
It's
me,
just
it's
your
like
opinion. I mean,
the idea.
it's just an
Yeah,
opinion of that.
exactly, exactly. Like, both things can be true. Like, I don't know that. I for me, what I saw was Fury. Like, after he got hit and after he went down,
Hmm.
I didn't see the same
Hmm.
fighter, right? And we talked
Ah,
about
okay.
you talked about the fact that he hit him with the right hand in the round one and round two, right? You said that, but that is when a guy is the strongest, right? So, and it's not like you hit him like you can hit a guy flush, but not in the right place. So if
Right.
he hit flush on the chin and he didn't stagger and he just kept coming forward, okay, fine. He just got the right hand off, but he got the right hand off early. If you notice, even in the first fight, he may not have landed on his head as flush, but he still didn't get him out of there to the ninth. He didn't drop him to the ninth and didn't really hurt him until the 12th. And that's when
Right.
guys, after 10 to 12 rounds, you're fatigued, your strength isn't the same. You might be the same shots that you were able to eat early, you may not be able to eat late.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so does that apply to Wilder? Because I mean, this wasn't a late fight when it went like around past the first half, and it was
No,
over.
well, I mean,
So
like, it was really competitive after the third round. I was just speaking to the fact how you were saying that he got hit with the hand in the first and second round. That's when you're at your
right,
best,
right.
right?
But
Like, if you're gonna be
yeah,
able
I
to
mean,
take
but that
the punches,
yeah.
it's gonna be then.
Okay, so you're saying it must have been flush. He just wasn't in the right space. Man, that was did you see where he hit him? He hit him in a temple shot.
Yeah.
Hit him with a temple shot. That's a pressure point. That should have dropped Wilder. You know. But anyway, that's just me. That was one of the things I always wonder. Like, where was the power from that? Like, did the costume do all that early from the first and second round? Was he just like Bambi? Was he like Bambi in the first and second before he went down?
No.
No,
You
no,
see?
no, not no. I mean, but after he went down, that was it. Like, he seemed to me to be in, like, a damaged fighter, right? I thought that he
Right.
kind of was coming back. Like, he seemed like maybe he regained it like in the sixth for like 10 or
Hmm.
15 seconds, and then he just got touched again. And it was just like, okay, this dude's punch resistance is gone. I don't know what the hell's going on, but he can't
Right.
take nothing. It looks like a stiff breeze would knock him over.
Right. Right. So, do you think in the first fight, you think Tyson Fury hurt him in the first fight?
I, I I don't know. I don't think so. There was a lot of posturing. I don't know. Maybe there's a seventh
Okay.
round. I think the seventh round, but like Tyson, like, hit him with some good stuff. Um, oh, right, in the 12th round, yeah, 12th round, definitely. After
Yeah.
Wilder
There you
dropped him,
go. There you
and then
go.
Wilder
Right.
rushed in, and
Hmm.
he rushed in for the kill, and walked right onto that straight. I think it was either straight right from Tyson. Yeah, he seemed hurt then.
A right. He got hit with a right, then a left hook. It's on my
Yeah,
Instagram.
yeah,
I
yeah,
got it
yeah,
on the video. So,
yeah.
and he buckled. He buckled Wilder. So, like, again, like, I'm like, okay, well, maybe Wilder is undervaluing what Tyson Fury did, and I think because he's bringing all this up, this is my counterpunch. This is my theory. I think he's doing that because he does not want people to admit, or he doesn't want to admit to everyone that
That's a
Tyson Fury
lie.
can hit a lot harder because he was labeling him
Pillow fist.
the pillow fist puncher, feather
Yeah.
duster.
You
Yeah.
know,
You know, and he,
Kurt, you know a couple of things about the sport, right? You know what it's like
right,
to
right.
walk somebody on the punch, right? The idea that
No, I
if
didn't
they're
hear you.
coming
What'd you say?
forward, then you use their momentum. That when a guy
Kurt,
is
your
coming forward,
Wi-Fi.
Right.
Your
oh,
Wi-Fi is just
Jesus Christ, when a guy is
poorly.
coming forward,
Gotcha,
now
gotcha. I hear you.
yeah, Jesus Christ, okay, I'm gonna sit right here and talk to you guys. Okay,
There you go. Yeah,
so
you sound great. Perfect.
guys coming forward. when the guy's coming forward, his momentum actually increases the power of the shot. So that shot in the 12th round, that was Wilder coming forward and ran into something. In the second fight, he was stationary coming out of a clinch. Then he got dropped with that shot. That's a different kind of power and different kind of reactions. And as a matter of fact, he reacted way better in the 12th round after having been walked onto a straight right hand than he did from a standing, straight shot to the ear or wherever the hell it fell.
So what are you trying to say that led to have something in Fury's glove?
No, I'm not saying that. No, I'm saying that when we're talking about the punching power, right? Because we're just talking about the effects. He buckled in.
No, he was drugged.
You're coming forward when you're moving forward or when you're stepping backwards. Yeah, the punch was received differently. Yeah.
But I'll say this: Wilder's power carried to the 12th round, because if he had not, he wouldn't have been able to drop Fury like he did in the first fight. So it carried, So, but I'm thinking like, okay, I don't know. It was all bizarre to me. It was some bizarre shit. And I don't know what the thing with Wilder. I don't know what was going on with him. That's why I'm eagerly anticipating him not to retire, but to get back in there. Let's see what you got.
Do you think he should carry on fighting?
Yeah, what you think, Smoke?
Should he carry on fighting if he wants to? Sure, why not? I mean, it seems like he wants to fight.
I said, do you think he's going to carry on fighting? Not should he?
Yeah.
Do you think
I don't know why he wouldn't.
Because he priced himself out of the Charles Martin fight. I'm just wondering who's going to be a likely candidate. Who would you say is going to be who would you say is a likely?
Hellenius, damn you.
Hold on. I'm missing something. I'm missing a report that you guys have, apparently. What is this pricing out of the Charles Martin fight? What are we talking about?
Yeah, he asked for too much money for the Charles Martin fight. That's why the Charles Martin fight.
Where's this coming from?
Let me look it up for you.
Where's this coming from? You guys are educating me right now.
You need to be up on current events sometimes.
Yep.
See, it was.
There's no point in talking past each other. Let's talk about the same facts, right? You bring up Tay Jones.
On the same source.
Just so you know, right? So the Kevin Iole interview that the quote generated, right? That was on the 23rd, not on the night of the fight. It was the next day.
Okay, and your point?
Tay Jones seemed to be talking about what was happening on the night of the fight in the locker room and on the way.
But he still just said what he said. Even it's 24 hours later. Fine, get that.
No, I'm just saying that it seemed like the Tay Jones was talking about something else. It seems like he was talking about Lance Buckmeyer or something else, right?
Yes.
No, I mean they were both talking about the costume, so you can't say it was something else. It was both the costume.
Right, but what Tay Jones said was, I was in the locker room and he didn't talk to anybody, and he didn't talk to anybody on the way to the after party, and we didn't go to the hospital. But we know.
But what else was he saying?
The issue is that we know he went to the hospital, right? That's firstly. We know he definitely went to the hospital.
He said he didn't. You heard he said he didn't, though.
He said he didn't.
All right. So those are conflicting reports. Other people are saying that he did, but the issue is whether or not he went to the hospital directly after the fight. Because what Tay is saying is he didn't go to the hospital directly after the fight. Not that he didn't go to the hospital at some other point later.
Well, they stitched him up in the room. They do that though. That's standard protocol. Yeah. They stitch you up right there in the dressing room. Mm-hmm. So they did it in the Lada fight when Canelo busted his eye and he got that uppercut. They do that. So, but what he's saying, it's like I don't like hearing a lot of different shit. Because see, you have Lance Pug. He was blasting Lance Pugmire because something else Lance said. I don't even really want to get into because it's not really important. But Lance also mentioned the costume, and he was trying. What Tay Jones was defending the fact that Deontay Wilder, not only didn't he say anything, he didn't have the opportunity to say anything. So how the hell could he say something when nobody else was there? Well, later on, Kevin Iole, which was recently, said the day before, or should I say, the day after, he had came in and made an interview with Wilder, and Wilder said it was the costume.
No, I get you. And listen,
Yeah.
I know that, and nuance is a bear for people, right? Like people just want a very simple explanation that they can easily digest. Life ain't like that sometimes.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth?
Or maybe it ain't the truth, depending who it's coming from.
Well, yeah, there you go. Well, because
They're all fucking liars, and that's it. That's it. I don't care. They're all liars. You know it. We know it.
Hold on a second.
I'm out, gun. Hey, early lady Shan. Red nonetheless, straight from the Sun Cycle farm. Yo, Wyler, fix up yourself, yeah. Straight send from your girl lady Shan. I'm pep talk. Well, I'm pep talk.